Priory Gardens in Orpington is a well-used public park with ponds, water features, ducks, and is Grade 2 listed and sits in a conservation area. Also included in this video will be the old Orpington Priory Outbuildings that sit on the edge of the park on Church Hill. These are similarly Grade 2 listed, as are two sections of old wall that are sitting in the Priory grounds as well. This video aims to provide a bit of history and some change, as well as looking at some old maps and photos, including the drought of 1976. I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching Eclectic Experience, change seen through images. Priory Gardens consists of the old grounds of the Priory in Orpington, a Grade 2 star listed building with medieval origins, some parts dating back to 1285. The public park is a lot more recent. It opened to the public in the 1950s, with the council purchasing the Priory in 1947 and the grounds in 1959. The council demolished part of the Priory and built the old library, and then converted the remaining part of the Priory into a museum. Both of these are now closed. The gardens and park, however, remain open to the public and in public ownership, and it is possible to walk right up to the outside of the Priory building if you'd like to take a look. Probably the most striking part of the park are the ponds, together with the large amount of wildlife. The ponds are natural springs that mark the start of the River Cray. If we look at a map from 1895, we can see the ponds, and also that there used to be a lot more ponds, some of which were across the road before it was built over. There was a mill there as well. The ponds were actually enlarged in the 19th century, and once there was also a boathouse. One of my favourite surviving features is this little waterfall between two of the ponds. Something that has not survived from when I was a child were brick shelters, of which I remember a couple around the park. By accident, I managed to capture one in the back of this photograph whilst trying to take pictures of ducks. And this is the view now. An interesting change of use is that the cafe that's now at the Carlton Parade end actually used to be a public toilet, before being converted, which we can see in these pictures, to what we see today in 2025. Moving to the more formal area of the gardens, between 1919 and the 1930s, the garden was laid out in the arts and crafts style, with the aim of unity between the house and garden. Here are some features. There are two Grade 2 listed walls to the north of the Priory, which according to the listing are late 17th century and early 16th century. These actually help frame the house. At the top of these steps there are now benches on this platform, but it used to be a shelter, as we can see in this 2012 picture. These steps make a great approach to the house. Here they are through the years. Another curiosity in the grounds is this object. Again, I photographed it on several occasions over the years, and it's still here today. I think it's a stone lantern, but I'm happy to be corrected on this. To illustrate the variety of uses that have been made of the gardens, this is a photo from 1925, 100 years ago, showing a play being put on the grounds. Moving to the outbuildings on Church Road, these were in a terrible state up until the end of the 1970s, when they were restored and mainly converted for business use. They were mainly built in the 17th century. However, the earliest part of the two-storey buildings is the central gateway, which actually dates back from 1471. The main Priory building was restored in the late 1950s, early 1960s, when the library and museum were created. However, the outbuildings were not restored at this time, and the council even earmarked them for demolition so the road could be widened. But an inquiry in 1970 refused to give listed building consent for their demolition. So fortunately, they're still here, restored and still in use. There are multiple entrances to the park, two of which are quite grand. There is this one by the Priory Outbuildings with the Victorian gate towers, and then the main one at the Carlton Parade end with, according to Historic England's listing, metal gates from High Elms, a local large house that burned down, and the grounds are now a country park. In 1976 there was an extreme drought that really dried up the ponds and turned the grass yellow. Here are a couple of photos from then. There is also this curious picture from the same time, which is actually behind the ponds, and I worked out that it is probably the back of the old woodyard that used to back right onto the park. That is long gone, and it's now housing. I've been photographing Orpington since 1982 and have made a series of videos on the changes over the years. Please see the playlist at the end for details. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching Eclectic Experience, change seen through images.